in private. Now for more, journalist and author Tehran joins us now from London. Hi, Tehran. Thanks so much for speaking to us. I mean, first, what do you make of these Iranian women, daughters of Iran, challenging the leadership in this way?
Thank you for having me. I think it's an incredible movement to see from Iranian women inside Iran who really for the first time publicly and categorically in an incredibly unified way are expressing their resentment toward a regime that has been oppressing them for the last 40 decades. And like you mentioned earlier, we're not just seeing this from athletes, we're seeing these messages coming from actresses, actors, people from different fields, and people who really want to raise their voice together in opposed to what they've been calling oppressive for many years.
Right, and you know, it's not actually just Iranian women, it is other women from abroad that are actually calling attention to these issues. You know, back in 2018, if I'm not mistaken, an Indian chess champion actually refused to participate in a tournament in Iran because she said she would not be forced to wear a headscarf. In 2016, there was a top shooter, right, that pulled out of a tournament there in Iran for the same reasons. But tell me, does it help to have that kind of international pressure from other women in these cases, or does it kind of just further agitate the regime?
That's a great point, but to be honest with you, we've seen this over the years, but it really fades away. You know, it makes the headlines for a day or two, but it truly doesn't result in any constructive measures for the Iranian women inside Iran. Of course, any attention from the international community is incredibly important, but really doesn't result to much. However, this time, it's incredible what we're seeing, especially on Instagram and social media, from these young women, especially young chess players. You mentioned Kimia Alizadeh, Iran's taekwondo Olympian. You know, they are raising their voice unlike any other time. And what they're saying is very critical. They are essentially calling out the establishment, and they are blatantly saying that we are being used as propaganda, we're being used as tools, and we don't want to be part of this, and I'm quoting, corrupt game that is based on lies. And that's very important. One thing I want to mention here is that many of these athletes, many of these champions are playing and excelling and progressing in their fields with their own private funds. And that's incredibly telling in an environment where the regime and the government is not only oppressing them, but is also not even supporting them financially.
Right. I mean, Tehran, tell me more broadly, this kind of unprecedented momentum you're referring to, do you think it could actually lead to fundamental change in Iran?
I think there are many fundamental issues in Iran, but with respect to athletes, there's a main issue that has to do with the hijab, another main issue which is lack of infrastructure and management, and another third and very important prong which affects many male athletes is the fact that they cannot play against Israeli athletes. So these three main issues that encompasses athletes and Iran's champions are deeply rooted, and I don't think overnight we're going to see any change, but what these collective voices will do, like you mentioned earlier, I think they're going to embolden their movement on the international stage, and that I think right now is significant. And if you allow me, I want to also say that we're also seeing this protest from people who worked in the national television, a network that is controlled by the government. And in the past couple of days, many hosts and television anchors came out and said, you know what, we don't want to work for the national television. And that is unprecedented.
Okay. Tehran joining us there from London. Thank you so much for that.